Oh, yeah, that was interesting. My Wi-Fi just shut right down when that happened. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Central Wrestling Podcast. I saw this somebody on Facebook, one of the old Facebook group. I don't even know if it's an 80s, 90s wrestling center. They posted a magazine cover. Figured I'd download it, show it to everybody. I believe it March 1992. I believe they got Ric Flair. I believe this is probably right before WrestleMania 8. Purpose reason why I'm showing this. Look at the bottom left, the bottom headline. Oh, there goes AEW ripping off the WWF. European tour, baby. Rampage. 19. I'm sure Tony Khan, like, that's a great idea. Looking at that magazine. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Essential Wrestling Podcast. My name is Karl. We are powered, as always, by the Eastern Observer. Oh, you can taste the power. Absolutely unbelievable. We have a great episode for you guys today. A little drafty in here today, boys. On the bottom part of the screen, we have the first ever PWP champion, the living legend, John DeConnie. John, how are things today?
Not bad, sir. How are you?
Everything's going great. Me and Alvin Ted, tough loss Sunday night. I'm still hanging there, hearing that goalpost clang in my hair. I've heard it for the past couple of days, but we look good. You can't complain about that. Then we had Mike Maida's cousin, John Smith, who was on the other end of the spectrum for once, and you were there.
Yeah, I was at the Jets game, and that's probably the longest I've ever been at a game. It went to the last seconds of overtime, missed field goal. All it took was, an extra quarter and their top two receivers being out for us to win a game, but I'll take it.
There you go. That's it. Hey, one win at a time, right? One win at a time. We're actually going to get into a little bit of a football talk later, and I'll explain why in a second. On today's episode, is that it's getting a little drafty. James Wheeler already chimed in, and he's upset they broke up Tegan and Shotzi. I am as well. We will get to the draft up first. The draft is up first, so we will get to that right away. On today's episode, champions went 3 for 3 on NXT 2.0 last week, but champions in AEW went 0 for 1. Darren Mehaffy is with us this week again. He's discussed the NXT UK Heritage Cup Tournament Final. Big match on Thursday between Noam Dar and Wolfgang. Winner's going to get the title match, a title shot against Tyler Bate. Ryan Joy and Travis Severance are on assignment this week. I believe we assigned them. Is it us that assigned them to Philadelphia for the second year? Yeah, it's probably like that. They didn't have tickets all those years ago before the pandemic hit. Yeah, we sent them there. There you go. Sponsored by the Eastern Observer. There you go. Ryan and Travis, they're not here this, but their spirits live on. You'll probably see them front and center again, like you did last week on Dynamite. Jesus Christ, they were all over the place. Start calling Travis man of 1,000 signs. Holy crap. We make our picks for this week's upcoming shows presented by Minutes to Bell Time and sponsored as always by ProWrestlingPick'em.com. Play against your friends. Play against the universe. And guys, she'll like it too. You got to keep something going with that. I'm going to keep that one up for a while because we lost the puke emoji girl because Lars is gone. I liked her too. That was a fun one. We're going to main event our show with making our picks for Impact's Knockouts Knockdown this Saturday night. Plus, as a bonus, Rob DeLuca from the Primetime Rundown will be here at the end of the show to talk a little pigskin and get his take on the ass whooping we have been giving them for the past 4 weeks in our little Survivor pool. We're not just one-trick ponies over here. But we are going to curtain jerk the show. Like I mentioned, it is a little drafty in here, so we might as well start from that. How we're going to do this, on the bottom part of the ticker, you will see, I'm going to put the draft results up from SmackDown first, and we will go to the SmackDown roster and see how it's shaped up. So here we go. The top picks, let me get my notes out here. The top picks, of course, Roman Reigns went number 1 overall on Friday night. That was pretty easy, pretty safe bet right there. Charlotte Flair was drafted number 2. Drew McIntyre, The New Day, the new team of Happy Corbin, and Red Madcap Moss. They went well. Oh, Madcap's my new favorite wrestler. And Hit Row with the Naomi and Jeff Hardy. That rounded out. And then on Monday night last night, Usos went first overall to SmackDown, followed by Sasha Banks, Nakamura and Boogs, Sheamus, Shayna Baszler, Xia Li, Viking Raiders, Ricochet, and so on. So here is how the SmackDown side of things panned out, guys. As you can see, everybody who was highlighted and in blue is drafted, and that's accurate. There is one person missing from this equation. I can see there's Bayley all by her lonesome. She is out injured right now. She's probably due back somewhere in the vicinity of the Royal Rumble, from my memory recollection, maybe a little bit later on, depending on how her rehab's going. But actually, I mentioned to my wife on Friday night when we were watching. I forget who was. I think it was probably like Sasha and Becky and Charlotte. That whole thing at the end. Like, you know what, man? I really miss Bayley. I'm like, ding dong. Whoa, where are you, John Smith? We'll start with you on this one. How do you think SmackDown did on their end of things today or last Friday?
I think it's a little chalky. I like that they got Hit Row. That was one of my wild cards that I thought might get drafted, was Hit Row, even though they still have a belt on them from NXT, but I'm sure they'll reconcile that in the next 2 weeks before the changes take effect before the Saudi Arabia show or after the Saudi Arabia show. So I like Hit Row going there. I like Shayna Baszler finally being apart from Nia and hopefully getting herself a push. And, Toni Storm, her being drafted hopefully means that she's going to get some actual like TV time and promo time and, real program time.
John DeConnie, just looking at these things, and I know I just talked to you about this. You had a little fun here. How does their Survivor Series lineup look here? But the Usos are the New Day as tag champs. The women's roster, you got Shayna, Sasha, Charlotte, Naomi. With actually, Tegan, Toni Storm could possibly figure her way in there. You got Natalya, the Survivor Series. She's an all-time record holder. Then you got Drew, you got Nakamura, Sheamus, Corbin. How do you think SmackDown did on their end of things?
I really like their women's division. There was some odd breakups. They broke up the worst female tag team of all time. Natty and Tamina going their separate ways. They broke up Mace and T-Bar. What are we going to do with Mace or T-Bar without them being Mace and T-Bar?
I'm hoping you just give Dijakovic his name back. You just let him go back to that.
He could be Dominic Cat Bear Dijakovic.
Dominic Were Dog. Well, see, Mia Yim already officially got her name back, wherever she was drafted. So it doesn't bode well for Mason T-Bar that they were drafted as Mason T-Bar. So who knows? But I'm really liking the women's division. There's a few people over there for Roman Reigns to run through now. He's got. I'm sure there'll be a lot of fun with him and Drew. They did put. I think Travis mentioned this last week on. Jesus Christ, Ryan's show. Cesaro and Sheamus are back on the same roster, but I don't know that they necessarily put them back together. The interesting thing that I saw was, I had said I hoped Ricochet got drafted to Impact. Well, he got drafted to SmackDown, and I started thinking, why not put him and Cesaro together? That would be
James Wheeler chiming in, right there in the caps on the bottom. Reunite the Bar. Yeah. Possible. And the funny thing is, they have an unsettled feud. I believe the last time they wrestled, it was a best of 7 tournament. And they tied.
and then they became a tag team.
And that's how they became a tag team, because they each earned a title match, and Foley put them in the tag team championship match, and thus the Bar was born. But yeah, and to go to Raw, how the hell does Eva Marie not get drafted? Let me put the roster. What the hell? Like, this is she's not injured. That was a kayfabe injury. She's not having a kid. Maybe, she's not having a kid. I've been home. So Eva Marie probably got the biggest freaking what's the word I'm looking for when you miss something? I don't know. Asuka's been injured. Elias we haven't seen. Titus O'Neil's usually drafted in the 3rd round on one of these shows. I'm a little shocked Titus didn't go early like he normally does. Lucha House Party snub. That's what I'm looking for. Lucha House Party got snubbed. Slapjack sponsored by Popeye's Chicken Sandwich. We haven't heard him in a while. Actually, I heard he got his name back too. John Smith. He's actually is going by Shane Thorne, and apparently they have some sort of Crocodile Dundee gimmick for him because he's Australian. So I guess screw it. Let's be stereotypical with Australians now. He's going to carry on a boomerang and show people a knife, and then tell them that's not a knife. So what do you think of Raw here?
I like that Becky Lynch is on Raw. I like her on Raw over SmackDown. I don't know why. I feel like she fits better on Raw. Which one is Veer? Is he the really tall one?
No. And that was my next point. So here we go. We split up Retribution. They split up Tegan and Shotzi. Tegan, I love the women's division here. Speaking of Liv Morgan, Tegan Knox, potentially Eva Marie back. Loving the Raw women's division right now.
How the hell does Dana Brooke still have a job?
Dana Brooke still has a job. She got drafted. Mia Yim even got drafted. She was on Raw. She got her name called.
Oh, I love that too.
So, but we all know that when Veer and Shanky, we all know Veer is the Shawn Michaels of the team. So where do we do here, Sean? Shanky, you see Marty Jannetty. I think that's what's written all over Marty Jannetty. But Veer is Shawn Michaels, as far as I can see.
Yeah. Well, and besides, you keep Shanky with Jinder because he's got to have Jinder's back because Veer's his own man. He can do what he's got to do on his own.
So big things. I see rumors going around. They were saying Veer was going to get a championship match, possibly win the Royal Rumble. I guess these are.
You know what? He's an Indian Brock Lesnar. I'll tell you what, though. He's a freaking beast. Okay, say what you want about the skirt that he wrestles in or the stupid face paint. That guy can freaking go.
Veer's not bad. He's trying to the next Shawn Michaels.
Also, Xia Li. Xia Li is going to do big things, I think.
Yeah, let's bring up the NXT roster right now. So I believe our head count was 71 last week, and I even forgot a couple people. I forgot Dante Chen, I forgot Lash Legend. But Austin Theory got drafted to Raw. Hit Row, Aaliyah, Xia Li, Ridge Holland on TV drafted in the 6th round last night. So Pete Dunne finds himself all alone within a matter of 5 minutes of just getting a whole huge faction together. They turned on Oni and Danny, and then Ridge gets drafted, and Pete Dunne is all by his lonesome again. But this is where we are with NXT. It's a lot. We are under 70 now. And like I said, All Elite Wrestling does hold a record with 374 people on their roster. So are we okay going forward? Are you happy, John Smith, as our senior NXT correspondent? Are you happy with the people called up? Anybody missing? As we mentioned, Dakota Kai. What the bleep here?
Yeah, I think she should have been called up. I think Ridge Holland shouldn't have been. I think that he was going to be – I feel like he was in line to get the NXT title at some point. But I also think they saw Braun Breaker and just inserted him in what they planned on doing with Ridge Holland and, throw a European face on the main roster. NXT will be NXT. They'll always have a circulation of people going in and out. So I'm not worried about them. It's just as long as Triple H still has a hand in it and Vince doesn't have too much of a hand in it, then I'm fine.
And then I think the big story here, John DeConnie, I don't know if I gave you enough time to talk here, but I want to throw Gable Stephenson at you. Olympic gold medalist. His neck was fine, though, when he won his, but I don't want to, I don't want to, disregard the fact the guy is, an amateur Olympic gold medalist.
Yeah, so, I mean, just based on that, he's a fantastic athlete, but there clearly is a different skill set between professional wrestling and amateur wrestling. So I worry for him, not that he won't be able to deal, with the physicality of it. Does he take to professional wrestling as quick as Kurt Angle, Brock Lesnar? We don't know yet. I hope he's not stunted by being rushed right to the main roster, but certainly we're all rooting for him. You want him to be that next person on that level of the Kurt Angle and the Brock Lesnar, and I suppose we shall see.
Yeah, and this is I want to say it's not a new approach because you mentioned Kurt Angle, you mentioned Brock Lesnar, the Steiners. Whether or not they were actually collegiate wrestlers, I actually don't know, but they could go, and now they have their son, and you can see that WWE, they're like AEW, you can take the old indie darlings, we're going this route, we're taking actual athletes, from amateur wrestling and guys who could not make professional football, and even that has worked before. So The Rock couldn't make it, Roman Reigns, Baron Corbin, and there's an extra list of guys who have this athletic, this training that can transcend in the WWE. Now, is their heart there? Is their head there? That's, I guess, to be determined. But this seems to be the route they're going. And yeah, Gable Stephenson, this is a tough spot for him because everybody else who they put in this category, like the Creed brothers and Braun Breaker, Von Wagner, son of a Beverly, and they're getting their time to develop. If this is a true developmental company again, they're getting their time. So, John Smith, anything on Gable before we go forward here?
I don't know anything about him. I'm just optimistic the same way you guys are because, like even Shelton Benjamin, Chad Gable, like the list goes on.
Chad Gable. Yeah, they know him. So, yeah, Charlie Haas, Team Angle, Charlie Haas and Shelton Benjamin. They were gifts to Kurt Angle, and they shined. So, that was absolutely perfect. So let's get to the actual shows. It was a fun draft. I enjoy those episodes, especially since that Hit Row. That was a huge. Xia Li we kind of saw coming, and who else from Austin Theory? I was a little shocked by that too. But we'll see. Hopefully.
Oh yeah, that was fun too.
So we're going to go from the draft. We're going to go back to Friday Night SmackDown, and John DeConnie, I guess the match is the feud that keeps on getting stalled, but we finally got the match we were expecting at SummerSlam. Bianca Belair, Sasha Banks, they finally went at it.
Yep, and we had
the rematch that was.
Yeah. We had Big Time Bex on commentary. And eventually the match would spill out in front of her, and she would have some words with Bianca. And then Bianca tried to climb back in, and Bex just kind of leaned on that ridiculous braid of hers, which held her up, which allowed her to get rolled up into a jackknife cover for the win. And then afterwards, as everyone's, bickering with each other, some big old platform shoes just come into screen, and Charlotte delivers just eraser boots to the face of Sasha and Bianca both, and the show ends with Charlotte holding the title over her head while Big Time Bex stands on the announce table holding the SmackDown title over her head. Ooh, things to come.
Yeah, we're circling back to those two, and I enjoy those two. Any of the time the four horsewomen are fighting each other, I think it's fun, but. Roman Reigns looking forward after his win over the Demon Finn Balor to Crown Jewel and Brock Lesnar. So here comes the Lumber Brock. No words spoken. They just went at it. Suplexes for Roman Reigns, S5s for the Usos. So we are going full tilt with Roman and Brock going forward towards Crown Jewel. Another match that'll probably go on Crown Jewel. This is the second time this has happened to Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins got drafted back to Raw. But so is the guy he's been feuding with for the past year now in Edge. That's what happened to him last year. Oh, thank God the draft will split up Rollins and Mysterios. Nope. Fox thought the feud was so great, we'll put him on SmackDown too. So they both went over to Raw. Edge, Rollins, he didn't believe Edge would show up to SmackDown, which Edge did. So Rollins didn't believe him. So Rollins actually went to Edge's house. Made himself at home. So there you go. We had a match in the debut of a new sidekick, John Smith. Madcap Moss, in a matter of 5 seconds, went from here. I really didn't have a problem with Riddick Moss. I really didn't. I always thought he was good, but he just skyrocketed with one stupid joke. I'm sorry, two short jokes and a long joke.
Joke. Yeah, no, the name Happy Corbin and Madcap Moss don't really work until you see them and you see how ridiculous they are. Then you're like, okay, I get it now. Though I wasn't a big fan of the Happy Corbin thing at first, but now the way it's going, I'm fine with it. The match itself between KO and Corbin, KO was dominating pretty much the whole time, and then Moss would get involved and distract him here and there to get Corbin the upper hand, and then finally it worked on the outside where Corbin ended up delivering an end of days to KO on the outside, puts him back in the ring and delivers it again inside, and he gets the assist from Moss in a big victory over the former Universal Champion.
Yeah, Kevin Owens. John DeConnie, here he goes, SmackDown ripping off AEW. We had an 8-man, 4-team tag team match.
8. That's nothing. Wait till we get to AEW.
Yeah, no, and as AEW's watching that, like honestly, this was after that. This say hold my beer, but
hold our beer.
Hold our beer for a second.
So yeah, we had a New Day in the Street Profits. They would eventually get the win over the Dirty Dogs in the Alpha Academy when Kofi and Woods would hit the demolition coup de grace on Rude, and Woods would cover him. And it was a good match. Obviously, these are 4 great teams. They gave him about 10 minutes of airtime, and it ended up just the way you thought it would, with the good guys coming out on top.
Yep. James Wheeler, he chimed in on a little nugget of information about the draft, and I want to bring up the draft one more time because the next kind of falls into it. The Miz stays on Raw this year. The switcheroo time lapse is over. Miz had a streak going. He hops shows every single draft. So now that's officially over. Miz was not drafted on TV. He was drafted on Raw Talk. He's too busy Dancing with the Stars right now. Please go do Dancing with the Stars. Make sure you call in your vote to whoever they do it. Make sure Miz wins the gold medal, because God knows we'll never hear the end of this if he wins Dancing with the Stars. That's exactly what I want. But with that, Carmella, her streak is over as well. She's never been on Raw. This whole time since 2016, Carmella was repeatedly drafted by SmackDown. She is now on Monday Night Raw. Corey Graves popped big for that. His prayers were answered. He gets to be with his girlfriend. But she was supposed to have a match with Liv Morgan on SmackDown on Friday. That never got started because Mella decided she wanted to wear a mask and then jump Liv Morgan before the bell started. Good news is Liv Morgan also got drafted to Raw as well on Raw Talk. So that feud can continue on Monday nights. And then we have some fun to talk about here, which we have 2 tournaments starting on SmackDown. They will continue on Raw. So yeah, we'll save that. We'll save for that at the end, because then we can bring Gary and see what he thinks about that as well. So about last night, I'm talking about the King of the Ring and the Queen's Crown, for those of you who are confused there for a sec, because it started Friday, it continues Monday. We'll just talk about it in one big fun conversation at the end. But about last night, Big Time Bex, she started the show, and she came down. She wants to be Becky 2 belts again, considering she is already the SmackDown Women's Champion. And then she announced ahead of time that she was the number 1 overall pick. I believe now that's the 2nd time. Last year, I believe she was not drafted, but the year before that, I do believe she was also again the number 1 overall pick on one of the nights. So Becky wants to be Becky 2 belts again. Charlotte came out to disagree. Then Bianca came out being like, girl, you don't go here. Slide move by Bex, keeping the attention away from her and trying to get Charlotte and Bianca to fight. So great sneaky heel tactic by Big Time Bex. She got a wish. Here comes Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville. They booked the main event. John McCowney.
Yes, they booked that main event. First time ever, Bianca versus Charlotte. And of course, we didn't get an ending to it, or we didn't get a winner by pinfall or submission. We got a DQ finish because Becky was on commentary. Bianca did manage to hit the KOD, but Becky pulled Bianca out of the ring, causing the DQ. And afterwards, there's a whole schmoz that Charlotte kind of stayed out of this time. Her and her big platform shoes did not part of this. But Sasha Banks got involved again. And Becky took Bianca outside, hit her with a Beck-sploder into the barricade. But then Sasha would attack both of them and finish it off with a backstabber to Becky. And this women's division is it's a mess right now. We don't know. We got the belts are on different shows, but we still have a triple threat. For one of those titles coming up. So there's really nothing settled in the women's division on either show.
Now, the belts of switch shows, that triple threat match features 2 Raw superstars. So Sasha Banks kind of the favorite right now if they choose to go that route to keep the belt on SmackDown. But John Smith, as we saw last year when champions switch shows, the New Day and Street Profits just switched the belts. And that counts as a new title reign, which helped the New Day break the all-time record. Is this just a cheap way for Charlotte to get another title reign?
I would not put it past them because that's what their goal is to just get her up to 16. I don't like it though.
Yeah, that's true. Moving forward, 2 of Dolph Ziggler's proteges were in the ring being disrespectful to Dolph and not thanking him for all the leadership and guidance that he brought Big E Langston and to Drew McIntyre. So Dolph actually had video footage. Dolph's the man. But instead, Big E and Drew McIntyre, they decided to team up and they beat the Dirty Dogs in a tag team match. Drew McIntyre, he came out originally when Big E was out in the ring. He wants the championship back now that he can challenge for it because Bobby Lashley's not champion anymore. Big E said, let's do it at Crown Jewel after the match. And looks like we're headed that way. And speaking of Crown Jewel, Bobby Lashley and Goldberg, they will go at it in no holds barred match. 2 things about this. Goldberg once again said he was going to kill somebody. So between him and Arn Anderson, they're having a fun little competition here in between shows. And the second thing was Bobby Lashley's like, okay, Bill, what would you do if somebody jumped you from behind? Because that's what Gage did to Bobby. And that's exactly what happened. And Bobby set it up perfectly with a hurt business. And Goldberg started attacking. So you know what? Point Bobby on that one. So we'll do that. Randy Orton challenged Omos, but it never happened. It was deployed at RKO on AJ Styles. They will have a tag team championship match at Crown Jewel as well. We'll discuss that in a couple of weeks. John Smith, Damian Priest doing a pretty good job. He's being a champion's champion here. He's defending the belt every Monday night.
Yeah, doing a pretty good job of it too. This match wasn't as long as you would like it to be between these two. They hit their moves, and then Hardy hits the swanton, and all of a sudden he lazy covers. He sells some sort of back injury. They said, "Oh, look at the way he landed." It's like, yeah, he lands that way literally every single time he does a swanton bomb. But this time, the small of his back was really devastated. We got ourselves our Raw roll up. It was a crucifix Raw roll up, but still a Raw roll up nonetheless.
It was a variation of it, correct? Yes.
Yeah. So then Priest wins. Nice little handshake between him and Hardy. Then we get a little interview in the ring with Hardy, interrupted by Austin Theory from The Way. So he comes down. He's got a cell phone in his hand. He starts, verbally blowing Jeff for 5 seconds and then asks to take a selfie with him. Then he blindsides him with a kick instead and then takes a selfie laying on the ground next to him. So I'm liking this Austin Theory that we're going to get on the main roster.
Yeah. And Jeff, there's going to be probably, let's have one more week of consequences because Jeff's going to SmackDown and he talked about reimagining himself, I guess. So this Willow guy, I guess Impact doesn't own Willow, huh? I guess he's just a Jeff Hardy owned.
Well, isn't that his middle name?
Nero.
Oh, Nero's his middle name.
Brother Nero.
Never mind.
John DeConnie, we had a failure with another tag team split up, and this is the end of an historic run.
An historically bad run. Yes,
it's still historic though.
We saw presumably the last tag up between Natalya and Tamina as they once again faced the WWE Women's Tag Champions Rhea and Nikki Ash, and it would end when Rhea hit the Riptide on Tamina. and then would assist Nikki with an electric chair kind of splash right onto Tamina for the 1, 2, 3. 4 minutes, 15 seconds, and we can put that team to bed now, hopefully for good, as they are on separate rosters. So fare thee well, terrible tag team champions.
But they got the thing is, we will remember them. They got the win at WrestleMania, and it's really on the grand scale of history. That's all that matters.
They had their moment.
They had their moment. Shayna Baszler defeated Nia Brooke with the Karabuta clutch. Baszler looked to set up Dana Brooke to break her arm on the steel steps like she's been doing. Thwarted by Doudrop. So maybe we have a match between Baszler and Doudrop before Baszler goes to SmackDown. The New Day defeated the Hurt Business after the springboard elbow drop by Woods on Cedric, and we will get into Xavier Woods in about 2 seconds. And then Hector Garza and Humberto Carrillo, they defeated Mansoor and Mustafa Ali. Mansoor needs some momentum going into Saudi Arabia. He is the all-time winningest competitor in Saudi Arabian history at events in that country. So my prediction with Mansoor has not come true. When he debuted in 2017, I said give him about 3 or 4 years. He'll be beating Brock Lesnar for the WWE title. It does not look like that's happening, but whatever. He's on the main roster, so I guess we'll take that as it is. But, gentlemen, we actually have the King of the Ring tournament returning. We also have the debuting Queen's Crown tournament. It will be starting Friday night on SmackDown, then continuing on Monday Night Raw, starting this week. And the reason why I want to bring up Xavier Woods, you read reverse and you see articles and interviews of him from however many years ago. All this guy wants is to be King of the Ring. And after he won that match last night, crown me, he wants it. He was screaming into that camera, crown me. So my personal pick, I'll jump the gun here. I'll just do myself first here. I got Woods getting at least to the finals. Whether or not I hope they give it to him. What are they doing with Nakamura here? So is Nakamura going to have to defend the crown in this tournament? So I'm thinking they're going to put him in there, and I'm thinking the final at Crown Jewel will be Xavier Woods defeating Shinsuke Nakamura to be the King of the Ring. So that is my call, John Smith.
Well, we're doing early King of the Ring calls. You really blindsided me with this one. I don't think it's going to be Woods. Jeez, give me Gable Stephenson.
Wow. Ooh. Just get him rolling right off the bat. There you go. And
yeah.
Kurt Angle won the King of the Ring in his rookie year, along with every other title in WWE. But that's a tall order. You won every championship and the King of the Ring in 10 months. John DeConnie.
Yeah, I like your finals there with Nakamura and Woods. And in the WWE fashion, I would see them keeping the crown on Nakamura, getting Woods right there to the end, making you really care about him. They'll probably have a really interesting match. And then, Nakamura wins with the Raw roll-up or something.
Yeah, I know. I feel that's why I said Woods is at least going to get there because I can see them just dangling that in front of everybody. But that's more of a dangle that's more of a kick in the balls to him than us. I personally will live my life and sleep well if Xavier Woods does not win this tournament. He might not. So that wouldn't be a goof on me. So what do we got here? James Ward chiming in. He's got King Woods and Queen Liv, and that's going to be the next topic here. John DeConnie, the Queen's Crown. So we're going to have it, I guess, the Queen of the Ring, however you want to do this. Any early predictions with that? Liv would make my too.
It seems weird that you'd have someone already call themselves the Queen, and then you would do a Queen's Crown tournament. I expected them at some point to get the belt off Charlotte so that she could win the tournament and then presumably maybe get a title match or whatnot and win the title back or something like that. So I really don't know, though. I would really have to take a harder look at the women's division. Right now I'm going to say Charlotte Flair, even though it makes no sense.
Okay, well, here's the thing, John Smith. Way back in the year 1993, I believe you were still in single digits years old. There was a king in the WWF at that point in time. He was not entered into the tournament either, and he actually crowned the winner by jumping him after the coronation. So there is a setup here for Charlotte to just attack the winner. If that's the case, she gets left out of it.
I mean, my original pick was Charlotte, but I mean, this is getting crowned at Crown Jewel, right?
Right.
I would think so.
So yeah, no, I mean, I don't see her like it going that way now that she's still got a belt. Could she attack the winner if the winner is guaranteed a shot at the title? Sure. Yeah, I want to say Shayna Baszler, but I don't think they're going to go that way. But I'll pick Shayna for now. But that's not my final answer.
Yeah, I guess as long as this whole thing ends in a kiss my foot match, right? I guess that's what happened in 1993 between Jerry Lawler and Bret Hart. I made a prediction. Ryan Joy and I talked about this on the Daily Wrestling News Show a couple of weeks ago when Ryan was on air and not traveling the country, going to wrestling shows and being on TV for 2 hours straight, 3 hours.
Eva Marie?
I did. I did that. I actually have Naomi defeating Zelina Vega. I got Zelina Vega getting to the finals of this thing. I was sending this over, and I had Naomi, and it was a way to get Naomi kick-started here. It was an interesting. I was wrong for a second because they were both on the same show for a second, but Zelina, she landed on Raw while Naomi stayed on SmackDown, so they're back on different shows. So that final is possible. I think you need to put Zelina in this to justify coming back and rewarding her for that when all you've done is made her lose. So. With that, gentlemen, we are going to bid you adieu, but we are going to keep the King of the Ring conversation going for just another quick second as we bring in Gary Mehaffy from all the way overseas in beautiful Northern Ireland. Gary, top of the evening to you.
Good evening. I hope things are doing well.
When you talk United Kingdom, it's royalty. It just feels like royalty to me with the British and whatever. So I'll give you a crack at this if you want. Is that right? No, you're not right. Who do you think? Any early favorites in this in these tournaments that you think? I mean, nobody's announced. We're kind of like throwing blind darts here, but
yeah. I mean, it's one of those things where they could go a couple of different ways, and they could do anything they want. There's part of me goes, I'm thinking as a one from left field, as to say, Cesaro. Who obviously Cesaro being kept to stay on SmackDown because they need kind of more challengers for Roman and stuff, and to kind of build somebody up like Cesaro, who they go, oh, he's the king of swing, he's the king of the ring, here we are, you've got him, and then you could give him, like, throw Roman another bone, just somebody to beat in the meantime until he gets to Drew or until he gets to Rock or whatever happens. So Cesaro, I think, is one. And actually, along the same lines, now that she's got her second name back, Tegan Knox, I think, has an outside bet. I think it's somebody they like and they kind of will do something with. So I think as an outside bet, although I quite thought, as you said, Zelina Vega getting to the final, I think that's not a bad call as well. I could see that, but
yeah, I tend to be. My win percentage this year isn't as high as it was last year, so I've been a little off, but. We'll see what happens. It was fun. Tournaments are always fun to me. We got a huge knockdown tournament. Again, we know the 8 competitors with that. Maybe if you want to throw, I don't know if you saw the competitors yet.
No, I haven't. I've seen it. It's happening, but yeah, I haven't seen.
Okay. But we had a huge main event last Thursday over a locker room. Between Jordan Devlin being bullied out of his locker room by Gallus, so he went at it with Joe Coffey.
Yeah, sorry, we weren't on my own there for a minute.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, no, it was good. It was fun actually as a match. When I watched it, was the first couple of minutes of it. I was like, this isn't quite clicking. They're not quite on the same page. What's going on? And then as it went, it built. I was shocked. It has to be said, with kind of the almost 3-on-1 at the end of it when you had Gallus, when you had all the Gallus chipping in to kind of get Jordan Devlin. You had Mark Coffey jumping on one side, Wolfgang holding on the other side, and it's like, and they beat him. But it was a good match. And again, it's the one that when it finishes, you look at it and go, this isn't over. It's going somewhere else, and it's still going, as you say. And there's been a few interviews I was watching online after on their digital media platforms. There was one with Gallus, really, and that was the thing. They were saying, he thinks he's coming in here. He's got his own locker room. What? Gallus boys on top. And you go, okay, this is, as you say, this is going to be over. The locker room on a pole match or something like that. It'll be like
I can see Jordan Devlin. I don't know why, but immediately Tio Man and Rohan Rahashi comes to mind. I think they would go great with Jordan Devlin to make it a 3-on-3. He needs help because I had him. It was Best of the Bells clothesline preceded by some distractions and questionable tactics by Gallus. There's the Gallus we all know and love. That's Mustache Mountain, they got a win over Ashton Smith, Oliver Carter after a springboard clothesline into a Snapdragon combo. Symbiosis tried to get involved. Bomber Day Massive, Jack Stars came for a save. There was a huge 8-man scrum. There was a lot going on there in the tag team division. And the one thing, this is getting worse than Sasha and Bailey here between Trent and Tyler because we're expecting it. And it's just.
Yeah. It's not. And again, there's a video with them together after the match going, oh, isn't this great? No, Mustache Mountain, we're back. Here we go. And you're like, okay. As you say, we kind of all assume it's coming. But it was a great match. And I have to say, I loved the finish. I think it looked great. As you say, like the clothesline stuff into the Snapdragon looked amazing. And it was a good finish. And as you say, with all the tag teams coming out, it builds. You can have an 8-man. You could have different just tag team matches coming out of it across the road to kind of build up and see who eventually gets pretty deadly next. Although you assume it'll be Mustache Mountain, but
they already had him though, right? Didn't I thought Ash and Ollie had him at one point during that 8-man scrum. Ash and Ollie almost they had like a double combo. I thought they had Trent down and Trent kicked out. So
they're a very underrated team, to be honest. Smith and Carter, they really are. They're a really good team.
I'd love to see them get kickstarted.
Yeah.
The Nino Samuels show debuted after that was a quick interview with Massive and Stars. It didn't go so well, so stay tuned for more of the Nino Samuels show. Danny Luna defeated Zaya Brookside after a sit-down powerbomb, and Zaya's not happy. Danny extended the hand after. Zaya slapped it away like a 5-year-old and pouted it off.
She did, although I have to say, I have two thoughts on it. At first it happened and I was like, they can't make her heel. She's not the sort. This isn't, like, it's not going to work. But then on the other hand, I watched it and I went, okay, I don't think they will. I think this is just her going, I need to do better. Don't patronize me. Don't put your hand out. I'm here to win type of thing. And you go, okay, just give her a wee edge. Give her something to come through. Because, I mean, I've said it before. I really think, and if crowds were back, and I know obviously we were saying that there's going to be a few people coming back for this set of tapings, but if crowds were back, I honestly think Zaya Brookside would click something shocking. I think she'd be brilliant. She has that sort of old school Bailey in inverted commas when Bailey was around at first. That young girl doing there that everybody would want to be, just brilliant. Yeah, it would be great. I mean, I could just see everybody loving it. So I think giving her just a little edge again is a great thing. I think there's big things to come from her down the line.
I hope so. Like I said, the little I'm gonna miss it if she gets it down. If she stops doing the little shimmy and coming down pretending she's a plane, it's fun. Charlie Dempsey defeated In Action by bending him completely backwards. Holy crap! I believe the time on this match was over 6 minutes. He beat Josh Burrell.
I loved it. I sat and watched this and went, and I think I've watched it at least twice, where I was going, I just love this, man. It was going back. He promised old school World of Sport type wrestling, and we got old school World of Sport type wrestling. He was brilliant. I loved watching Charlie Dempsey. And I mean, he literally, I'm sure it felt like 26 minutes. I mean, it was just. That match lasted a lot longer than I think it should have. And holy crap, that submission! He had him bent like a. Oh yeah.
Twisted him like a pretzel and then bent him backwards.
It was brilliant, and the two of them worked so well together. It was great. Yep. They really did mesh well.
Ilya Dragunov and A-Kid, they had a face-to-face. They will meet not this upcoming Thursday, but next Thursday, October 14th, at NXT UK Championship. That will be Dragunov's first title defense. So we will talk about that next week. This week, it appears that Sam Gradwell snapped Mark Andrews' skateboard. Cannot be confirmed and denied. Innocent until proven guilty, but we all think it's Gradwell. So they're going to eventually get at it. Gradwell actually graffitied. Wrong one. Graffitied the tent.
Yeah, the wall. Yeah.
last week or the week prior. So who do you got in this one, Gary?
I don't fancy Gradwell's chances, to be honest about it. I think Mark Andrews will take it. He'll avenge his skateboard. But in saying that, but yet Sam Gradwell, we've said before, he is that sort of wrestler. You could nearly beat him every time and it wouldn't matter. He's like Teflon. He really has. And I've said 6 months ago, I couldn't understand what he was doing there still. I didn't know what they were going to do with him. But now when he's on screen, you go, you're a good wrestler. You've come through. You've found your niche. And he's really done well. And as I said, I do have Mark Andrews taking it. But
I think this is going to be the launching pad of Sam Gradwell. I completely agree with everything you said, and it makes complete sense. I feel like they have to launch him at some point. So have him, Mark Andrews, not that he's not a singles wrestler anymore, but he's a part of a tag team, a part of heel tactics. Angel's gonna have it one, but it's gonna be a groin shot while the ref's not looking. Or Gradwell seems like a thumb to the eye kind of guy. There's going to be some heel tactics to not make Angels better. But I think this is where we start. I hope we start launching Sam Gradwell, and then Nathan Frazier eventually, right? Jenny with some choice words to Amelia McKenzie last week during Amelia's workout with Miko Satomura. So Jenny's going to get at it with Amelia McKenzie. Not much of a story here other than that altercation. Again, I did it again. That's force of habit. I apologize. But these are both women who have been in the area of Isla Dawn recently. Yeah. So I'm interested. I might be looking too deep into this. I mean, you need to manage my expectations, but
no, that's
see where Isla Dawn comes in on this.
That's I would say she will, as you say. There's been enough hints of that as they've gone. As you say, they've both been involved with it. That Isla Dawn will get involved somehow and come out for definite. So you may well end up with it that nobody wins. It might be just a count out. It could be double count out, DQ, whatever.
Yeah, both of these women have a lot of momentum going forward.
Yeah.
And it seems like they're both. I can see a triple threat coming out of this with Miko.
Yeah, definitely.
And then finally, we have the tournament final. What we've been all these meetings have been going for coming down to Noam Dar and Wolfgang and Garrett. I think we nailed this perfectly.
Yeah, I
think we did pretty good picking this. I did it again. I really got to stop doing that. So who do you got on the finals? I had Noam Dar from the beginning, and it's like Wolfgang was kind of the sympathetic pick for us because he's he's a day one guy. He's finally breaking out, away from Mark for a hot second. Yeah. But I got Noam.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. That's for Noam Dar. I think the story's been good going for Wolfgang. I think actually it would help coming out of it when you've got the whole thing of Wolfgang. Oh, you're coming through, and they're playing off it. Was he injured, and how's he been the last match? And this is your time. And then if Noam Dar beats him, it gives him more scope to come out of it and go, oh, poor Wolfgang, this was your time and you still didn't do it. Oh, dear. Yep. And you can start more of a story between them as well. But I would say when you look at the two, Noam Dar to take it.
I think, Noam Dar, like I said, for the main reason of that is that on his talk show, if he has the cup displayed, I mean, that would be perfect, on his coffee table. I think that would be perfect. Plus, like I said, Wolfie, If Jordan Devlin is going to get back up here coming, like he's not going to be worried at all about the NXT Heritage Cup. The Heritage Cup. He's going to be more involved trying to help Gallus against Jordan Devlin and the forces of evil. They're not really good guys either. But Gary, thank you very much. Big week next week's NXT UK Championship. Looking forward to it. Anything else before we leave?
No, as I say, I mean they are doing when they're taping the matches coming up. The next couple of nights are having some fans back for NXT UK, so it'll be good from the 14th. They actually see proper fans there reacting to what's going on, so it can only help everybody. So really looking forward to that.
Yeah, and that's always a fun crowd. That's a really fun crowd. So Gary, thank you as always for staying up late night with us. We appreciate it. Have yourself a great night.
See you later. Have a good one.
All right, as we bring back in John Smith, we bring back in John DeConti. Any, as I get everything set up here, any quick predictions about the Heritage Cup tournament final? John DeConti, anybody?
I think, I was with you all along with Noam Dar. I just didn't enjoy him way too much.
Yeah, it seems like he's waited long enough before, like he hasn't gotten any sort of title there. So I mean, there's not too many to go around there, but you know, it's his time.
My time now. So last week, NXT 2.0, we had 3 championship matches. John DeConnie, both women's championships were on the line. We'll go with the singles competition first. The speculation of the draft, I think, kind of clouded all of our minds. I believe last week, Raquel would have been an obvious choice to be called up.
Yeah, I kind of figured whoever lost this match would get called up, and then I would have been wrong either way. But we had Raquel retaining. The match only went about 7 minutes. I think we definitely could have gotten more out of these two. I fear that maybe because Raquel popped a seam on her top there, I think maybe they were trying to save her from a wardrobe malfunction, but she would eventually win with the Chingona bomb. But that really wasn't what the match was about so much. As it turns out, it was about setting up Raquel Gonzalez and Mandy down the line as Toxic Attraction would make their way ringside afterwards, jump all three, Frankie, Jesse, and Stone outside. Then they'd surround Raquel and attack. And JC and Gigi would hold Raquel for Mandy to hit a running knee and then make the cardinal error of standing above a fallen champion and holding their title that they had not won. You never do that, Mandy. Doesn't matter how pretty you are.
No, you don't touch the cup unless you win it. The big thing with this was, I forgot what I was going to say. I just lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, the Conchita. I never knew her power bomb had a name. What was the name of it again?
Chingona.
Chingona. I had Conchita because I forgot. I didn't hear what he said. So,
the Chiquita banana bomb.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, this sounds Latina, I guess. I don't know. And then the other one, speaking of Toxic Attraction, they challenged Io Shirai and Zoe Stark for the tag team championships. They did not get the job done. Io hit a moonsault on JC Jane to retain the titles. So Io and Zoe, again, there's 2 more that we thought the possibilities of them getting drafted. Yeah. That did not happen as well. John DeConnie, staying with you with the last one. I was actually really impressed with Grayson Waller.
Yeah, he controlled most of this match. I mean, the match was only, if you take away the fact that it started in the damn commercial break, but we actually got to see about 6.5 minutes of the match, and he controlled most of that time. And then he went for some kind of leapfrog. I'm not really familiar with his moveset. It looked like he was almost going for a famouser. And Strong countered him with a jumping knee to the jaw, knocked him silly, and got the 1, 2, 3. But it definitely was a good showing by Grayson Waller.
Yeah, very impressive. Now I think Drake Maverick is officially done with NXT. Hopefully maybe Grayson is, because he seems like he had a personality with Drake. Like he was the Drake Maverick of the team with Drake Maverick, and not many people can say they can do that. So we'll see what happens with him. I'll be my eyes on him going forward. John Smith. What we didn't think, well, maybe it's not. Like I said, we have 2 weeks before these rosters take place. Rich Holland, he got a surprise call-up. He was on the draft last night. I believe it was a 6th-round pick. He had one last match, I guess, or possibly it could have been his last match with Kyle O'Reilly after them jumping Kyle before the championship match.
Yeah, talk about left field with him getting drafted. Didn't think that he was going to be leaving NXT before winning that title, but as far as this match goes, Kyle O'Reilly attacked Ridge Holland during his entrance. Then the match started, much to John DeConnie's chagrin, during the commercial break. So then we pick up the action when they come back. Match only ends up being 5 minutes plus whatever we didn't get to see beforehand. Before Pete Dunne comes out, tries to interfere. Kyle O'Reilly bounces Ridge Holland off of Pete Dunne with a Raw roll-up, just the way they do over in Vince McMahon land. So we got a Raw roll-up from Kyle O'Reilly right into them beating the crap out of him. And then Beverly Von Wagner makes the save.
Wait, what did you call?
Beverly Von Wagner. That's his full name. Beverly Von Wagner comes out, makes the save for Kyle O'Reilly. So it looks like we're going to get a tag team match this week between them.
And then John Smith, the show kicked off with a no disqualification match. Now, my original thing was, why are you doing this to these two when they've never been on TV? They're brand new. You're going to put them in a no DQ match, and honestly, pretty good.
Did not disappoint at all. Yeah, so they opened the show with the match, which was awesome. This was better than the female main event we got an hour and a half later. We get Hit Row and Legado going at it at the beginning of the match, so then they get kicked out. So then we get it whittled down to just a one-on-one the way it should be. Then they start introducing the toys. We got a table out there. They didn't use it traditionally. They used the legs of the table while it was upside down. That was pretty cool. There was
she's got legs. Sorry.
We got some Singapore canes involved. Then Lopez threw some chairs in the ring and body slammed B-Fab on a few of them, and ended up giving her own somewhat of a Chingona bomb on to B-Fab, but it's a sit-down Chingona bomb, not a choke slam Chingona bomb.
Ching down a bomb.
Yeah, ching down a bomb. Yeah, exactly. Lopez really impressed me in this one. She has, and B-Fab did well also. She took some serious bumps, especially when she was sat down in the chair and Lopez just did the full body like Bray Wyatt sideways splash onto her in that chair. That looked like it hurt.
Yeah,
but Lopez really impressed me in this one. Plus, she didn't look too bad either.
So with Legado del Fantasma, speaking of Alexa Lopez, James Wheeler's chiming in. John Smith is a senior NXT correspondent, and looking at what happened with the draft and the rosters now, North American Championship is on SmackDown. Any predictions as to?
I feel like they might give it to one of the new guys. Maybe a Braun Breaker, unless they want to keep him in the Ciampa situation, or maybe even Von Wagner. The first person that came to mind besides that, though, was Dexter Lumis, since he's so over. But, they probably don't even need to do that because he's so over.
Yeah, especially after he's probably too tired after his honeymoon. See the amount of condoms that he bought on that honeymoon? Jesus Christ. Another match I want to bring up real quick. Zion Quinn, he defeated Oni Lorcan with a flying forearm. Shout out to Tito Santana. Not the reason why I want to bring it up, though. Oni Lorcan, see this? I thought after this, we did our show with the draft preview, and then Oni goes on, and we had two situations here. Either Oni's going to bury a new guy, that's just not what Oni does, or he's going to lay down his time. I thought Oni and Danny were getting called up. After that match with Oni just laid down to a new guy, I figured, all right, let's see Oni and Danny versus the freaking Usos. That'd be awesome. Borkin and Lurch. I'm sorry, John Smith. Yes. Yeah,
Borkin and Lurch.
This week coming up. By the way, Andre Chase is absolutely hysterical. Shout out, he's Christopher Nowitzki, but like amped up. Like I'm really enjoying this. Anyway, this week, tonight, excuse me, not this week, just tonight on NXT 2.0, LA Knight versus Odyssey Jones. John Smith.
I'd like to say LA Knight gets the screw job win, but I think Odyssey Jones pins him.
Yeah, LA Knight pissed off somebody. It's after the first episode, the two losses in one night, and like he was the one that ate the pin in the 4-man tag as a bloody mess, by the way. So he pissed somebody off, John McConney.
Yeah, well, something tells me maybe he doesn't turn off the character when he goes backstage, because who would want to deal with that human being in real life? But I think I think John's got this one right as usual when it comes to NXT. I think Knight will try every underhanded tactic he can come up with, and eventually just get erased by Odyssey Jones.
I do believe they call that Enzo's disease, when you don't turn off your character when you go back through the curtain. Enzo's disease. Cora Jade, she will be in action. We haven't seen her probably since the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. Last time I remember her being in the ring, but she will be in action. Tony D'Angelo, he will be making his NXT debut as well. Again, another amateur wrestler, apparently very highly acclimated wrestler at the University of Buffalo, I want to say. So Tony D'Angelo and all of his mafiosa will be in action. And then we have what's turning into an 8-man tag team match. We go again, ripping off AEW. MSK said they'll continue to be fighting champions. Here comes Grizzled Young Veterans, who I wanted to be drafted. I wanted them on SmackDown. Came out and still looking for their 2-on-2 title match, which they never did get. Here comes Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams. They came out with their contract saying they might use it on the tag titles. But then here comes Briggs and Jensen, who just came out, and they are bar fighting buddies, so they just started swinging. So we have an 8-man tag team match between MSK, Briggs, and Jensen against Grizzled Young Veterans, Carmelo Hayes, and Trick Williams. John McConney.
Give me MSK and APA 2.0 in this one.
APA 2.0. There you go. That's okay. I like that. John Smith.
I'll go with the heels on this one. Get Hayes and Trick a little momentum before they cash in that little envelope or whatever you want to call it, that folder. They got to cash the folder in.
Yeah, they got to cash the folder in. Yep. Well, I guess what Scorpio Sky brought up on Dynamite, at least it's not a Sonic ring. I guess I think he called it. And that could have been a lot worse because you could have went like toilet seat pad. Like you could have won a lot of stuff with that gold ring that was supposed to be a gold ring. But anyway, going to AEW, who ripped off WWE from way back in 1992. As we saw at the beginning of the show. We want to do Rampage first. John DeConnie, big match. Bryan Danielson back in action against Nick Jackson. Nick Jackson's wearing off on me. I think he's absolutely hysterical.
Yeah, he's every week it's what's he doing? What color is his hair? What's he doing with his facial hair? And then he just goes out and performs in the ring.
Yes,
and
exactly.
That's exactly what we got here. We got Brian. Every week this is going to Bryan Danielson.
Yeah.
And Nick Jackson went for 15 and a half minutes. It ended with the cattle mutilation, which is something that D-Bry was kind of not exactly, it wasn't on paper, but it was kind of an unspoken. He wasn't to use that in the WWE because someone would have to call it. And they didn't want them using a cattle mutilation submission hold on their television show.
Again, another move that I've never heard called before, and I wrote down wrong in my notes. I was a little closer on this one, with just like Kata, like cattle mutilation. Is this ironic with him being a vegetarian? Is this like a whole ironic thing? Like,
sure, why not?
Okay, that's great. That's great. Now his finishing move is murdering cows. Perfect. Go.
And since he's a vegetarian, where's the cow's just going to waste because he's not chopping it up for food. He's not.
No, he's not.
At it. But anyway, after this one, Omega and Cole would come down to look after Nick. They didn't go right to jump Danielson, but that brought out Jurassic Express and Christian down anyway. That would start a brawl, and Cole would wind up in the snare trap. Kenny would kind of, make his way out of there. He wanted nothing to do with it until the crowd started serenading him with the Kenny Noble.
Jamie Noble. Yeah, why were they chanting for Jamie Noble?
And that brought Kenny back into the ring, and he would immediately get snatched into the label lock. And face-to-face, Kenny and Cole would stereo tap each other out, and that's the way that one ended.
Another action on Rampage. Jade Cargill. I thought it was a very interesting and intriguing triple threat match. I was rooting hard for Thunder Rosa. Jade Cargill got the window over Thunder Rosa and Nyla Rose after wearing Rosa out with a chair. Like, that was a very just finally just pinning her. So no finishing move necessary. No rules in the triple threat. So there you go. And then Orange Cassidy, he defeated Jack Evans after an orange punch. Poor Jack Evans got shaved post-match. Going into rewinding Dynamite, like I said, if you rewatch Dynamite, Ryan Joy, Travis Severance, even on Rampage, front and center. I don't know how they got the tickets. I don't think I've ever even looked at prices at those tickets because they're out of my budget. But very fun to see them throughout the entire episode. Again, Travis, his new nickname, not only is the salesman of fun, but he's the man of 1,000 signs. Seems like get a new one for every single match, including a VKM Fierce Tony Khan?
Did he have Cody as trash with him?
No, he didn't. But the VKM Fierce Tony, let's just okay. He's up on that. There you go. Here's John Smith. There you go.
Cody is trash. Don't forget, guys. Never forget. Cody is trash.
John DeConnie. The main event of Dynamite last Wednesday. Ryan Joy, again, continues to witness history every time he goes to these events. Seems like he always picks the right one. And I guess maybe we should have saw this coming. You know, they're in Rochester. It's Brody Lee's hometown. Brody Lee is synonymous with the TNT Championship, so you might as well just have a title change while you're doing it. So, and I thought Miro was unbeatable. I laughed at, I forget who, I think Ryan tried to pick Sammy, but didn't. I almost laughed at him because I just felt Miro was unbeatable, but color my face red.
Yeah, I vaguely remember what I said last week was that, you know, obviously Miro's going to lose eventually, but it's not going to be to Sammy.
No,
come on. But they made it very believable. They had Miro rip off all four of the top turnbuckle pads. Like, I don't know why he needed to rip off all four, but I guess that gave just enough time for Fuego to get involved momentarily and eat a big right hand. And then this would give Sammy, who had been knocked out of the ring, time to recover, get back in, hit that running knee to kind of wobble Miro, and then send him face first into the exposed turnbuckle of his own doing. So now he was all wobbly. Sammy hits a tornado DDT, somehow gets him up for the go to hell, and then hits that crazy 630 senton out of the corner. And we have ourselves a new TNT champion.
Was it a 6:30? I thought they said 6:30. I tried to do the math on it, and I came up to 5:40. I guess I was wrong on that one. But yeah, so we have a new TNT champion, the fifth ever. Now joins Miro, Darby Allin, Cody Rhodes, Brody Lee as in that record book in that short history of AEW. So, but then I'm sure John Smith, I'm sure as you saw watching Rhodes to the Top debut last Wednesday night during the commercial. They actually aired that Sammy will be defending the championship right away against Bobby Fish. The Forbidden Door's open. Not sure what's on the other side of the door that Bobby Fish came through.
Twitter.
I guess it's at his house. I guess I don't know where Bobby Fish came from. But Bobby Fish is a free agent right now. His 30-day, 30-day no compete clause at NXT has not the full 90 if he was on the main roster, but. Bobby Fish challenged, and Sammy's going to give it to him.
Yeah, I definitely got Sammy winning this one. I didn't see the commercial for it, though, because I was looking on the guide for Miz and Myths. I wasn't looking for Roads to the Top, so I didn't find the show.
Of all the things for AEW to rip off, you're going to rip off Miz and Mrs. Come on, Cody. Kill him. Listen, I'm the biggest Miz fan there is. I love the guy. I think he's great. I don't even watch Miz and Mrs. Like, that's not even. I don't need to dig that deep into Miz's personal life. Like, let the guy have some space. Whatever. John DeConnie, Sammy Guevara, correct?
Yeah.
All right. So, like I said, we have a bunch of 8-man matches signed. We have one on SmackDown. We have one coming up tonight on NXT, but not to be outdone. AEW with a 16-man tag team match that will see your 8-man and put 8 on each side. How about that? We're going to double you. So it was the Dark Order. Again, it's Brody Lee night. You got to think the Dark Order was going to get involved somehow. I just didn't think it was going to be every single one of them. They actually teamed with Orange Cassidy against every member of the Hardy family office. The fact that there's 8 members in the Hardy family office is pretty crazy. Not one of them was singles wrestlers either. All tag teams. And Cassidy Dark Order got the win. And then it looks like the Dark Order is getting back together again. Brody's wife came out, gave them all an earful, and especially Grace and Uno, and I believe Colt Cabana is in that group. They tried to walk away. TJ and Mrs. Brody Lee, along with -1, they gave him a stern talking to, and they went back and it looks like they hugged it out. Looks like everything was all together again with the Dark Order. So on Brody Lee night, that makes sense. That's a nice little bow around that. And now we can bring in Bray Wyatt. There you go.
-1 hit the paper toss. That's I think that's what kind of shook everybody up and got them back in order.
Yep. And then TJ, they came back out a little later on. They defeated the Bunny and Penelope Ford with the Clean Slayer by Anna Jay on Penelope Ford. So win there again for the Dark Order. John Smith, the show opened Jungle Boy and Adam Cole, a match I did not know I wanted to see until they announced it. But it's funny with Jungle Boy's name. Like Adam Cole's trying to be tough and a badass. I'm gonna whoop Jungle Boy. It just doesn't coming out of it. It's anyway.
Like you said, this is a match I didn't know what I wanted. I mean, you just got to go back and watch it. It's a clinic, there's nothing, they don't do anything, it's not a 5-star match or anything like that because Kenny's not in it, of course. But, this unbelievable match, just, the flow. It's Adam Cole. Adam Cole can literally wrestle a broomstick, and Jungle Boy's pretty good himself, even though he's a little green still. But my biggest thing is, why would you have Adam Cole go so long with a guy of Jungle Boy's stature in the status in AEW? Because it kind of bring Adam Cole down a couple levels to have him have to take 14 minutes and a low blow to beat Jungle Boy. So that's my only problem with what happened.
That's a hot take right there. I figured this was a very evenly. Okay. Then after the match, the Elite joined Adam Cole in the ring. Kenny said he'd never fight Bryan Danielson again, which prompted Bryan Danielson to come out, saying Kenny had no balls, which sparked the crowd randomly chanting for Jamie Noble. So I'm going to use that joke twice. I got the shows backwards. I was supposed to do Rampage with the Jamie Noble joke second.
Hey, Nadia. Hey, Nadia.
Do that thing with your tongue. The best was when he won the Cruiserweight Championship and he started spending all the money that came with the belt, and he got the nice motorhome for Nidia. That's what champions get. Jamie Noble was a freaking gem. Out of nowhere, I thought this guy retired. Leo Rush is all Elite now. Strong businessman, apparently. He has some type of business model that I'm going to try. I'm going to put my entire life savings in, and I'm going to see if it works out for me like it does for Leo. So, see how that happens. John DeConnie, we had a 6-man tag team match. A little below par for AEW, but whatever.
We had Moxley and Kingston, that duo that we love so much, and they had Darby and Sting along, although Sting was at ringside. They took on Bear Country and Anthony Green, who you may remember as August Gray from NXT. And it seemed like this was Let's Haze August Gray Day because, we had a nice, it was only about a 3.5-minute match. Bear Country came in, did their stuff, and I don't even exactly remember how it was that they wound up out of the match and just kind of, I don't know if they walked away or if they were both down on the outside, but it was just beat the hell out of Anthony Green Day because he got the, what I believe they're calling the Violent Crown. And Kingston shoots the half Nelson, and Moxley helps him complete the suplex with a lariat. That got Mox the cover for the 1-2-3 victory, and then afterwards, with no prompting.
I want to cut you off on this one because no prompting. Here comes Sting carrying his gigantic shovel. What the hell was that? Now I'll let you go. Yeah, very poor Anthony Green.
Yeah, poor Anthony Green takes a Scorpion Death Drop just to pop the crowd one more time. And what the hell did he do to piss people off?
I know, right? What the hell does Sting have against him? We're never gonna see Anthony Green again. The Golden Shovel, Scorpion Death Drop. Thanks, Sting.
Well,
Sting can take a lesson from Oni Lorcan about putting young guys over. Oni Lorcan laid down to this guy we never heard of to get this guy some credentials. No, not Sting. It's all about Sting.
Yeah, and Oni Lorcan beat Finn Balor and Karrion Kross 1-on-2.
Yes. That's exactly right. MJF and Darby Allin got into it verbally. Looks like we're on our way for that for Full Gear. Tragic story for Darby Allin. That was sad to hear. It's been a while since the Lucha Brothers defended the AAA tag team titles. I didn't realize that was AEW's responsibility to have them defend those tag team titles. But apparently, I guess it is. So Andrade has some friends that will challenge the Lucha Bros for them. Then we had a match. This is the match. The Nightmare Family, represented by Cody Rhodes and Big Shotty Lee Johnson, defeated Dante Martin, Matt Sydal. Big Shotty Lee with the pin. Good for him. Cody wanted more of Malachi Black post-match. Arn put him in his place. I'm just going to leave it at that. I am not getting on Arn Anderson's bad side. And we'll just leave it at that. I don't want to talk in my face.
Cody's trash.
Cody's trash. Dan Lambert and the Men of the Year aren't getting overlooked anymore with their win over the Inner Circle. Good for them. So we got a couple matches coming up, and it is the second year anniversary of AEW Dynamite. That is why Travis Severance and Ryan Joy are both not here. They will be in attendance tomorrow night. I believe it is in Philadelphia. So good for them. I don't think they're gonna be front and center like they were last week. That was fun, and that was good for them. That's gonna be a great experience to sit that up close and just have that that VHS. You gotta make sure they time record that VHS for them forever. Hikaru Shida. Here she goes ripping off Jungle Boy, right? Then Jungle Boy hit 50 first. Hikaru Shida's going for her 50th win in AEW history. It'll be the first woman to hit 50 wins. I mean, that Jungle Jack Perry, Jungle Boy, he did it a while ago, first to do it on the men's side. Serena Deeb is a tough out, though, John Smith. This is not going to be easy. Serena Deeb coming back from injury, and Hikaru Shida, who we pretty much, I don't want to say non-existent since she lost the championship to Britt Baker, but I can't remember the last time I saw Shida on TV.
Yeah, they got so many wrestlers they got to cycle through. They probably forgot they even had her in the backstage area,
She's like waving, trying to get her to the back of the line.
He's jumping up behind the Good Brothers, like, why are they even here? I'm gonna take Shida on this one because why else would they tell us that she's going for her 50th win?
John DeConnie, is there such a thing as a storyline that she'll never get to 50? It takes her till full gear to get her 50th win. Like, can we drag this?
That would be fantastic. I mean, no offense to Hikaru Shida, she had a lovely run as the AEW Women's Champion, but if we cared more about her, that would be a hilarious storyline to drag out for a year. But I think she gets it done here.
I don't know for a year. The full gear is not that far away. I mean, it's like a month away.
Full gear. I'm sorry.
Yeah, full gear. That's yes. I wouldn't do Shida dirty like that. That would be good. We have the casino ladder match, as mentioning Scorpio Sky mentioned the Golden Sonic ring last week. This year, I believe the winner does get a championship match. I believe that is the purpose of this. We have Pac, we have Andrade El Idolo, Jon Moxley, Lance Archer, Orange Cassidy, Matt Hardy, and a Joker to be determined. Tony Khan says we're really going to like this. They usually don't disappoint with their surprise guests. Now, the fun thing, this is one of those weird matches where it's ass backwards. You want to be in this match early. You don't want the rest of them to come out. You want to get that ring and get that title match before other people come out. So the earlier the number, the better it is for this match. John DeConnie, who do you got, and any idea who this alleged Joker is?
Yeah, you keep hearing both Bray and Strowman kind of maybe even lean, especially Strowman, maybe leaning towards Impact. So I don't think it would be either one of them. So I don't have a guess as to who it's going to be. Probably somebody, walks through the Forbidden Door from New Japan or something like that. There's plenty of interesting names that could come from there, but
yeah, and that'll set up something. I would set up Moxley's next pay-per-view match because God forbid he fights somebody from AEW on an AEW.
Exactly, and that's exactly right. Whoever the Joker comes through will eventually wind up having some kind of angle against someone in this match because I don't think the Joker wins here. I think maybe it's more someone like Orange Cassidy, just because they think that they get a really entertaining match out of that with him and Kenny before they decide where they're going for Full Gear.
Mm-hmm. John Smith, I guess another name that we have to throw out there is we haven't seen Adam Page in a while, and if he wins this match, that would be the Rook or whatever that would, he's not allowed to challenge, right? Because he lost that elimination match a couple months ago before he left. I think this would trump that, I guess, or do I have to bite in that? I can't talk about this. This would overturn that, right? That would be.
I would think so because it's a world title match that they get. It's not just any championship, right? So give me Page. As far as the Joker, I can't think of who it will be.
Page would have to be the Joker.
Oh, he's not in the match?
No.
Oh, I didn't realize he wasn't one of the guys that you listed there.
No, we got Pac, Andrade, Moxley, Archer, Cassidy, Matt Hardy.
Oh, well,
And then you got the Joker.
Well, I'll take the Joker no matter who it is then.
Yeah, I think it should be Hangman Page. We haven't seen him in a while. I think his wife had a kid, right?
I think that's a pretty lame Joker though, considering all like the debuts that they've had recently. I don't know why you make one of the guys that's already on your roster the Joker.
And then from the Jungle Boy versus Adam Cole match and the Bryan Danielson versus Nick Jackson match that John DeCarlo talked about, there's an 8-man tag. There we go. That sounds like a little more like AEW. This tomorrow night, where Bryan Danielson, Impact World Champion Christian Cage, and Jurassic Express are going against AEW World Champion Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, and Adam Cole, baby. John DeCarlo, who do you got?
Yeah, give me the Elite here. Let them let them do their dastardly deeds to get their victory here before someone gets their comeuppance down the line.
All right. John Smith.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and agree with that.
I will agree too. I'm gonna go. What you just said. I'm sorry. I was
the Elite.
You see, I'm gonna go with the Elite too. Actually, no, Christian Cage. I got Christian Cage pinning Kenny Omega again.
Oh, okay.
You gotta build the momentum. You gotta build the momentum for Bound for Glory. Christian Cage is pinning Kenny Omega again. Speaking of Impact, we are going to turn our gears to that real quick. I just saw Rob Deluca. He is backstage. Rob, we got one more segment to do before we get you. Hold tight, pal. We appreciate you showing up. But we have Impact Wrestling. From last Thursday, John DeCarlo, it was an attack from Moose and Morrissey that took out Sami Callihan and that broken ankle. There was x-rays on Twitter and stuff. There's a lot of bolts and plates that are in that ankle right now. Sami really got it messed up. But rumors going around Sami will be out till 2022, so get well soon, pal. So Eddie Edwards not only fighting for the honor of his wife, but also his, wink, wink, friend, I guess, partner.
His mortal enemy / tag team partner, yes.
Yeah, mortal enemy / friend.
So we had Eddie and Morrissey, and because of that quote unquote attack on Sami, it was turned into a street fight, and Moose was barred from ringside. So we had Eddie and Morrissey beating the holy hell out of each other for about 16 minutes. Alicia would buy Eddie some time as he was about to get a superplex or something through a couple of chairs. She came down with the Kendra stick to get some attention, kind of turn Morrissey's head for a minute. Eddie would get the upper hand, and then Alicia would play the role of Bill Alfonso by holding the barbed wire wrapped chair in front of Morrissey's head for Eddie to hit the Boston Knee Party and get the victory. And the celebration was short-lived as Moose would then come out and attack Eddie, manhandle Alicia, just kind of toss her around the ring, spear Eddie through a table, and then they made Alicia watch as they hung a chair around Eddie's head, ran him into the ring post, smacked it with another chair. It was an ugly scene to end the night.
Yeah, he said Eddie's got a 2-on-1 right now. I don't know if Eddie's got. I don't know why though. Is Davey Richards? I know he's wrestling again. Is Davey Richards? Are we gonna get a Wolves reunion here for Bound for Glory? I would love to see that against Morrissey and Moose.
Yeah, he's the kind of guy you could bring him back because the Impact fans would love him, the TNA fans would love him. But supposedly he's like Tessa Blanchard, kind of nuclear, like nobody likes him. That's why nobody's bringing him in anywhere.
Okay, well, he can come back for one match at Bound for Glory.
Sure,
come back for a run-in and then yeah. Deonna Purrazzo went to Mickie James's home to attack her in an altercation that got a little wet and wild. Well, it's fun.
A little hardcore country.
Well, that was hardcore country. There was decision time for Rhino with Violent by Design. Either with them or you're against them. Heath returned from his injury to attack Violent by Design, who was no, they're blaming the Battle Royal, just injury. They're not blaming Violent. But they still attacked him after in the trainer's room, right? There's an issue with Heath and Violent by Design. I think Rhino was guarding the door, and then they him to get to Heath.
Way back, yeah.
Yeah, so Heath returned. He opened his arm for a Rhino-sized tug, but Rhino walked away. So Heath is going to address the Impact Zone. And Ryan Joy, thank you for reminding us, Heath does have kids. So
And apparently his left eye is way bigger than his right eye.
Wow, yeah. The Good Brothers, while on vacation, proposed a tag team match. Now get this. Okay, Impact's usually spot on with the writing. This makes no sense. Good Brothers, while on vacation, proposed a tag team match between Finjuice and the Bullet Club, and they'll take on the winners at Bound for Glory. Absolutely great. Finjuice and the Bullet are completely ignoring this. They're just gonna have a 16 tag team match. Finjuice is gonna take. They're gonna enlist the help of Chris Sabin. They didn't even acknowledge the fact that the Good Brothers are throwing the tag titles into this picture. So you got the Bullet Club, John DeConnie, against Finjuice and Chris Sabin. Who do you got in this?
This one's tough. I want to say that just adding Sabin makes Finjuice, the favorites here, but ELP, I mean, he is something to watch. So I'm thinking maybe the Bullet Club takes this one.
All right, John Smith.
Yeah, I still think the Bullet Club is something that needs to be protected when they're in America. So I think they're going to win this.
That's a valid thought. I got Chris Sabin. I've never bet against Chris Sabin ever again. There we go. In the X Division Championship Tournament, the first qualifying match was last Thursday. Trey Miguel defeated the Laredo Kid and Alex Zane with a very meaty aura on Laredo Kid. Trey is qualified for the X Division Championship match at Bound for Glory. We have match number 2 this Thursday. We have Petey Williams. We have Steve Macklin, I Spy a Jersey Guy. And Black Taurus. Taurus is on fire. John DeConnie, who do you got?
Man, either one of the other two guys would look a lot better in that X Division triple threat, but something tells me Steve Macklin's going to come out of this.
I feel like Macklin's the heavy favorite. I just think Petey. I would love to see Petey in the match, and I'd love to see. Yeah, exactly. I guess we win on this one. John Smith.
I got Macklin winning this. He still hasn't lost yet. I don't see him losing yet. What is this? A series of triple threat matches, and then they're all in one big Ultimate X or something?
It's 3 triple threats to populate a triple threat at Bound for Glory. So the 3 winners.
Failed to mention this. I guess Matthew Raywald. I guess he has an issue, or he shot a promo on Laredo Kid after the Laredo Kid's match about wearing a mask. And us as fans don't understand their art in the ring. I'm pretty sure Laredo Kid and Matthew Raywald is going to be going out at Thursday as well, John Smith.
Yeah.
All right, John DeConnie.
I mean, I'm assuming Raywalt will continue his medium hot start to his career here, and Laredo Kid, could certainly eat the pin and not really. It's not really going to hurt him all that much. So give me Raywalt.
And then Christopher Daniels, welcome back, Christopher Daniels. The Fallen Angels in the house. He defeated Madman Fulton after the best moonsault ever. Led to Ace Austin and Madman Fulton again complaining to Scott D'Amore. Christian Cage is cleared now, so we're going to have a tag team match. Somehow Christopher Daniels figured his way out of this conversation, but Josh Alexander and Christian Cage are going to be getting at it. John Smith against Ace and Madman. Who do you got?
Yeah, give me Alexander and Christian on that one.
Of course, you got to build that momentum to Bound for Glory, right? He's going to beat Kenny, I guess. He's going to beat Ace Austin, right, John DeConnie?
I say maybe Madman and Austin take this one, and that's what the kind of Christian Cage and Josh Alexander were already kind of bickering with each other last week, so maybe it continues, and there's some genuine hatred going into that Bound for Glory match.
All right. The Digital Media Championship Tournament. You got me on this one. I don't know. But apparently you have to go on to Impact Plus every Tuesday. There's a match on Tuesday. There's a match on Wednesday, and I guess they'll replay it if you don't subscribe to that later on. The first match was today. John Schuyler defeated Zicky Dice. And I guess he advances. Is there brackets with this thing? I have no idea what they're doing. I think it's a 6-way match to determine the first. Now I'm thinking about it. There's a 6-way match to determine the first ever digital media champion. Crazy Steve and Hernandez, they're going to go at it tomorrow on Impact Plus. And I guess the winner advances to the finals. I have no idea what they're doing here. But John Smith, who do you got, Crazy Steve and Hernandez?
Give me Hernandez.
Boy, right?
Yeah, Hernandez. Yeah, I love Hernandez. But is this like a real championship?
I think so. They
Exactly.
I thought the belt was just like a graphic that they put digital. Apparently, they were saying. I think I heard what's his name say, not D'Lo, the other guy, Stryker. I thought I heard Stryker say that this is an actual championship belt, and this is
They
another
couldn't come up
attempt
with
at
something. They couldn't come up with something better than that.
John, you should see. This is actually better compared to the stuff that they used to do, like the Legends Championship and the Grand Slam. Like this is actually not bad compared to what they used to have, I guess.
It's called the TV title. Nobody has a TV title. Call it the TV title.
I think that's what they're doing. Like nobody really watches TV anymore, so everything you're watching on your phone or whatever. So I think that's what this is going to take the place of. That and the fact that you work in the fact that the person whose name I think is all over this is Mac Cardona because he just dropped his internet championship in some independent show. So I could see him winning this long term, even though his name has not even been brought up as being part of it yet. But I'm sure we will find out down the line.
Yeah, and apparently we don't even know there was miscommunications. At one point, Stryker said that championship would be crowned before Bound for Glory. Then later in the show, they said at Bound for Glory. We have no idea, but this is what we have going in Bound for Glory, which is not this Saturday, but I think it's 2 Saturdays, right? The 23rd.
Yeah.
Christian and Josh, they're going to go out at Deanna and Mickey. We know the triple threat match. Trey Miguel is in. The winner of Thursday is in. And of course, we've got the Call Your Shot Gauntlet. Good Brothers threw out a challenge. We have a Knockouts Tag Team Championship match we'll discuss in a quick second. I still think we should do Christopher Daniels and Ace Austin and then Eddie and Moose. That was like the collision course as well. Unless Davey Richards comes back, I think that would be a lot of fun. Real quick, we have a pay-per-view this Saturday on Impact Plus. Knockouts Knockdown. Fun story. So with all the hype of Evolution and all the hype of that NWA show, what was the NWA show called? The women's
Empower.
Okay, so Impact's been doing this for a while now. I believe this is going to be the 6th installment of Knockouts Knockdown. So this will be the first one since 2017. I did the research on this one. 2017, they did a series of 8 matches. It was independent women's wrestlers against the Impact Knockouts, and then the winners they fought it was like the Survivor Series, the '90s Survivor Series, and the winners fought in the tag team match at the end. We ended up being the independent team. I'm assuming is the independent team winning. It was Leva Bates, Alicia Edwards, Santana Garrett, and ODB defeating Laurel Van Ness, Rosemary, Angelina Love, and Diamante. So Knockouts Knockdown has been around for a while. I know it's been a couple of years. Here are our overall standings going into Knockouts Knockdown. Ryan Joy has got about a 35-point lead over John Smith, and then John DeConnie is right behind them. Our Impact's only standings, John Smith right now on top by 12 points over John DeConnie, followed by myself. Here's the scoring for the show. There is going to be a tournament, so we have the standard knockouts, the standard rules. The Knockouts title match, there isn't one, so just do the 5 points for the perfect PPV. They're going to have a tournament, and the winner of that tournament is going to get a Knockouts championship match, presumably after Bound for Glory, considering Deanna and Mickie James is already booked. Before we get into the tournament, the Influence defeated Jordan Grace and Rachel Ellering to earn a Knockouts tag team championship match. So it'll be Decay defending against Influence. John DeConnie, who do you got?
Oh, it hurts my soul to say this, but I think, if you didn't bring Madison back for this purpose, then why the hell did you? No offense to her. I mean, she very nicely retired and we all sent her off with love. She comes back with absolutely no fanfare. I'm guessing it's to put the straps on her. So give me the Influence.
Yeah, and walk the aisle. Actually, I wanted them to win in that Bound for Glory. I would love it even more, John Smith, if the Influence walked the aisle at Bound for Glory and defended them. So I'm going Influence all the way on this one.
Yeah, it's hard to pick because they don't typically do big changes like this at these Saturday shows that are actual pay-per-views. Yeah. But I'm gonna roll with you guys on this one, and I'll go with the Influence as well.
Also at Knockouts Knockdown, they will be paying tribute to the late Daphne, who passed away a couple of weeks ago. Daphne, her character was a little nuts, and I believe she was in the first and only women's Monsters Ball match. I believe she fought Taylor Wilde. So they're going to do a Monsters Ball match in memory of Daphne. We're going to call it the Daphne Memorial. They have not announced participants yet. Hopefully they'll announce them Thursday. And I hope Taylor Wilde's in it, and I hope Taylor Wilde wins it. If that is true, my history, my research, my memory is correct. I do believe Taylor Wilde fought Daphne. So we'll go with that. And like I said, we have the tournament, the Knockouts Knockdown tournament. These brackets are blank. We have no idea. They announced the 8 women when Ryan Joy made this before he went to Philadelphia. They had 6 announced. We have Mercedes Martinez, Lady Frost, Chelsea Green, Tasha Steeles, Renee Michelle, Jamie Senegal, and then Rachel Ellering and Brandy Loren were also added the past 2 days. So the field is there, just the brackets aren't. So, John Connie, can you make a pick? You have 8 choices. One name kind of sticks out like a sore thumb.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you figure you're looking for a new opponent, an interesting opponent for Deonna here. So it sure looks like Mercedes Martinez would fit that bill perfectly.
Okay, that's not where I was going with that. John Smith.
I was thinking Chelsea Green.
There you go.
Because Mercedes Martinez, she kind of looked weak in the last couple of things she did in NXT. So to have her come in and then beat everybody in your federation after she lost over in NXT, I don't think it makes it look too good. I think she'll get a win or two. Maybe she'll make the finals. Yeah. But I got Chelsea Green winning this one.
I got Chelsea Green. Mercedes, girl, you don't even go here. So that'll do it for Impact, Knockouts, Knockdown, and that will do it for the wrestling part of this show. So we're gonna put the Eastern Observer logo up there because now we're gonna get a little interpromotional. Our forbidden door is now open. We are going to I don't
think the football people will know what that means, by the way.
No, the football people will know, but we're going to talk a little bit of football.
Our forbidden door.
Hopefully the wrestling fans will stay and enjoy some football talk. All right, we're going to bring on Rob Deluca from the Primetime Rundown, who you can see each and every Friday night on all the Eastern Observer platforms at 7 p.m. Rob Deluca, welcome aboard. I was on your show last week. Thank you for coming aboard here today. How's everything going?
Everything's going great. Yeah, we really had a lot of fun with you, Al, having you on. John, good to see you both. It's let's have some fun, talk some football. Eastern Observer, Primetime Rundown next Friday, 7 p.m. Any hockey fans out there as well. We're gonna have from the New York Rangers, Colin Stevenson on from the Athletic to talk to us about preview a little New York Rangers and I'm sorry, not the Athletic, Newsday, Long Island.
Gotcha.
And we're gonna talk a little New York Rangers, talk some Metropolitan Division, have a lot of fun on Friday. So be sure to tune in.
I can tell you right now who my pick.
Let's talk about what's been giving me some back pain for the past weekend, and let's get into some football here.
Exactly. It's that first things first, the Metro Division, probably the toughest division in hockey. I live it. That's my life, the Metro Division, the Metropolitan Division. It's got to be the Islanders again, right? It's got to be the Islanders.
You'd think. But you never know. My New Jersey Devils are one of the only teams that actually improved. So hard to say.
Yeah, there you go. I'm actually, my wife and I were actually going to the Rock tomorrow on Thursday night to see some Devils Islanders preseason action. So Rob Deluca's also a North Jersey guy, boys. So he feels right at home with us. And again, like you said, the reason why I get to a little pigskin, we have a small little pool here with amongst ourselves, but it's from our end. We did pretty good. We all looked at this. John Connie, John Smith, Ryan Joy, Travis. The Buffalo Bills over the Houston Texans. That game just jumped out at me. We all got that right. Tyler, man.
Tyler fell victim to one of the classic blunders.
You don't bet against your own team. Like, that's right.
I thought it doesn't. It's don't go into a match of wits with a Sicilian.
And do not enter into a land war in Asia.
Exactly.
But the good news is I have to give Gary Mehaffy some kudos here. Okay, so we're still this whole soccer thing screwing him up because he calls it football. At least he's stateside this year. Like, he's getting closer to where he needs to be. The LA Galaxy That is not the football team that we're correct. So we have to give him the minus on that. But he's so close. And then Rob Deluca, you actually picked the Buffalo Bills as well. So you and I believe his name is Larry, and if I can pronounce his last name correctly, Park.
I think you're close enough. Yeah, Larry Protakowicz. I mean, to us, that was the easy. We don't discuss our picks. Like, we all do this separately, and then we just send them to our wonderful host, Joey Jarzinka, who's sitting way down at the bottom of those standings, absolutely killing me here. And for me, the Buffalo Bills were easily the lock of the week. It was no question to me that they would win that game. And there was the atmosphere of a possible trap, but no, not if it was in Houston, maybe not in Buffalo. There was just
not in Buffalo. No way. Mitch Trubisky scored in that game. Like they were giving everybody the ball, man.
What?
So, anything, Rob Luca, anything stick out with you on week 3 that you want to talk about? I know the world has been just driving home Brady and the Patriots, so we'll stay away from that. I'm okay with that loss. I thought they played hard. They played well. So we'll just leave that where it is. Is there anything else in week 3 that stuck out to you? I'm sorry, we're in week 4. Excuse me. I'm sorry, week 4. The Detroit Lions are still best 0-14 in football.
Yeah, right. Honestly, I'll have to go with my New York Giants here. They went into New Orleans. It was the Saints' first game back at the Dome for the season after Hurricane Ida just ripped through there. They finally were able to get back home. I thought they'd run over the Giants. You know, they have they have a full house on their side, and it just all signs pointed to a Saints win. It was 21-10 in the second half. It really seemed like. But then Daniel Jones and that Giants offense just kept fighting. The defense gave them the opportunity to get back into it and to just persevere, come back into that game like that. Saquon Barkley finally looking confident on getting through, just trying to power through, even with a below average offensive line. I really think that the Giants were probably the surprise of the weekend.
Yeah, between them and John Smith, as we mentioned at the top of the show, John, you were at MetLife. The Jets got it done too.
Yeah, hell of a game. Didn't look like we were going to be able to pull it off at the beginning, especially the whole first half. But once the second half came around, Zach Wilson looked like a different person. He was pointing Crowder down, or not Crowder, freaking Corey Davis downfield for that touchdown. He was scrambling out of the pocket. I would run every play for him as a bootleg. I would not stand him in the pocket anymore because he's just able to make things happen once he's on the run. So, and then, the missed kick in overtime. It was such like a Jets moment for me because I was like, all right, we're winning like this whole game, and then it goes to overtime, and now we're winning again, and they're going to tie it, and we're going to go home with a freaking tie after all this. And, they didn't Jets it up somehow. Well, I guess the Titans Jetsed it up on their end. So
there goes the Titans ripping off the Jets. That's right.
Exactly. Well, we were the Titans first, all right?
Sure. That's a fair point too. And then leave it up to the Patriots. We missed a kick, and our kicker made a living with the Jets. It really just chaps my ass that Nick Folk is our kicker right now. But John McConaughey, you had a happy weekend as well. Speaking of the 0-4 Detroit Lions, your guy Justin Fields, he looked pretty good.
Yeah,
running back was better for the time being, but yeah.
Yeah, when you're not going up against a defensive front seven that is just full of game breakers, and your offensive line doesn't look like a turnstile, that kid Fields is pretty decent back there. And poor Allen Robinson. I mean, it's one of those things where, the guy who was the number 2 takes a lot of the snap with the number 2s. He gets this little bromance going with another guy who's one of the number 2s. And Fields to Mooney was good all day. And you almost forget Allen Robinson's on the team. And here's this guy who's a legit number 1 receiver. He's just not getting the ball right now. But it worked out this week, maybe because it was against the Lions, but bear down Chicago Bears.
There you go. So looking at next week's games, and if it's too early for making picks, obviously we can, change them going forward. 2 games kind of stuck out to me, and I was trying to I made a list of where are the games going forward that I could pick going forward, whatever. I was trying to save one team for later, hoping I get that far. Now I think I gotta use them because one of the cardinal rules that I wanted, there's like four. Actually, I thought of a fourth cardinal rule. The three cardinal rules I do with this: you don't bet division games because they know each other too well, and anything can happen. I tell people the Patriots could be 15-0, the Jets could be 0-15, and that will be a 3-point game. So you always just stay away from those games. Stay away from Monday Night Football because that is just that crap happens all the time. The craziest things happen on Monday night. And I try to take a home team. And the one rule I just thought of when I'm making my pick for this week, and I'm like, I'm betting on a team to lose, and I shouldn't do that. You're supposed to pick a team to win, but I was betting on a team to lose, and that team was the New York Jets, John Smith, and now I don't want to do it because I was going to take the Atlanta Falcons. And they turned it. They blew up at the end of that game against Washington. So now, and plus the game, he said you want to pick a home team. Neither of them are a home team. They're over in Gary's World, over in Wembley. So, do you take Rob? Do you risk even going near this game?
I personally wouldn't. I feel terrible for the people of London that this is what they're going to have to watch on Sunday. I mean, the NFL is trying their best to grow this overseas fan base, and you're sending out the Jets and the Falcons. Like, where's the logic in sending these teams over there? It's not there, and I personally don't know why they're going to do it, especially when so many Americans are just going to travel over there anyway. So how many fans are you really getting inside the building? So that are not Americans. So you really just got to wonder, is Andre Thomas there just to take the Jets to lose? Not a bad idea, but but the way the Falcons have looked after blowing that game against the Washington football team, I don't know. I personally don't think you could touch this game.
No, I don't think you can either. Say the Jets don't think, but the Jets winning and coming back and winning, okay, that good for them. But then with the Falcons, they're like, God damn. So, Rob, what games? You can lead the charge here. What game sticks out to you? Who's your pick this week as the leader, the commander? I don't want to say the only guy with the brains. I know all you guys are smart. That's not a fair assessment. But the guys who's piggybacking the load here for the primetime rundown. Who do you got?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, my very stiff back here. We're looking around through this schedule. Can't pick the same team, obviously. Can't go against the rules here.
Yep.
A couple of games I'm looking at, though, you could look towards the Las Vegas Raiders against the Chicago Bears. Maybe they're back at home after getting exposed by the Chargers last night. So I think that could be an interesting game to maybe see the Raiders rebound. Could be, hard to say. Another game, I'm not going to say that's who I'm picking, but it's a game I'm looking at. Another game I'm looking at. Al, I'm looking right at your New England Patriots going into Houston, because right now, without Houston having a real quarterback, I said it on the primetime rundown last Friday, Houston's just not going to go anywhere with Davis Mills. So I think this would be a good way for Mac Jones to show that he is not a fluke after outplaying Tom Brady on Sunday Night Football. And yes, I just said that because that is exactly what happened in Gillette Stadium is Mac Jones outplayed Tom Brady. And that's not even a question.
Hashtag Goat Slayer, John Smith.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are a couple games I'm looking at. And I know I already picked the Green Bay Packers, but look, I would say for everyone else, I would look at them because I think they're about to, even though it's in Cincinnati, I think they're about to ruin and expose the Bengals for what they are. And that is
the Bengals have been playing well too.
Yeah, I think they've been playing over their head. And I think Aaron Rodgers and company are going to go into Cincinnati and just ruin them.
And Mixon's hurt this week too.
That too. So there's a lot of variables out there. So definitely a couple games I'm looking at for. It's hard to say. It's tough to say where my pick's really going to lean. Could also because you got a couple of good games in there as well as a few sleepers. So
yeah,
it's tough to pick.
This is a tough week, John Smith. Have you looked at the schedule? Anything stick out to you?
I've got it down to 2. I'm in another one where I have 2 picks, and I never do the same pick for both entries. So I got it down to 2 for this one. I'm going either New England over Houston, or I'm going with Tampa over Miami. But Tampa might be the team I want to save for later in the season. So I think I'm going to go with New England over Houston, even though it's in Houston.
Yeah, that's exactly where I was going. That was the other game I was looking at. I'm going to take Tampa Bay. It was going to be the Falcons, and I had Tampa Bay. I think it was slated for like week 12. I forget who they're playing, but I'm just going to use. I got to use them now. You got to get to week 12 to make sure. So I want to make sure I get there, and that's what I'm going. I'm going to go with Brady. That Brady guy looks pretty good on Sunday night, even though he got outplayed. He's still got a tough game in the rain though. So John DeConnie, anything stick out to you?
Yeah, that the Bucks and Dolphins game jumped off the schedule at me too, but I'm gonna have to look at the next couple of weeks to see whether or not I need to save the Bucks, because then if that's the case, I may have to break one of the golden rules, because I just have a feeling that the Cowboys are going to blow the doors off the Giants, and that hurts me as a guy who grew up in Jersey and rooted for the Giants too, even though I'm a Bears fan first and foremost. But I just have a feeling that game's going to get ugly.
All right, so Rob, anything? We're gonna do our closing segments here. We're gonna read our I guess pay the bills, as we always say. Anything you want to show about the primetime rundown? I see you have your guy talking about the Metropolitan Division.
Yeah, we got Colin Stephenson from Newsday, Long Island. It's gonna be he covers the New York Rangers, so I know as tri-state area guys, a lot of our viewers probably come from around the area, so I would say definitely tune into this Friday, because we have a nice show for you. It's gonna unpack the final division of the NHL with opening night coming next Tuesday, 7 days from now. So there's a lot to unfold there. Gonna obviously recap the NFL week 5, or look forward to week 5, recap week 4, and we'll make our picks live on air there. And then of course we've got the MLB playoffs. So it's going to be a full show. So we'd love to have everyone, as many people as possible, tuning in for us.
And the fun thing about hockey starting next week, next Wednesday night, TNT has a doubleheader.
It's a beautiful
at 7 o'clock and at 10 o'clock. So for those of you tuning in for Dynamite, you're going to have to wait till Saturday. So that whole thing, and the irony of all of that, with NXT moving because of NBC Sports and the NHL hockey and everything, the whole thing that TNT's pumping Dynamite broadcasting is just absolutely hysterical. But yeah, the Metro Division, the Metropolitan Division, the Penguins, Capitals, Islanders, it's just such a tough division each and every. The Rangers are getting better. The Devils are getting better, as you said, Rob. So this should be a fun listen to. I'm definitely going to tune in for that. Also, tune into the Daily Wrestling News Show Monday through Thursday at 10 a.m. And get your morning cup of joy with Ryan and his band of merry co-hosts as they sort through all the show bit. Did I type that right? Show bit. Also right here on all of the Observer platforms. But they are off this week. Ryan, like I said, he is on assignment with his cousin Travis, and I'm sure Maggie is with him as well. They are in Philadelphia for AEW tomorrow night in the second anniversary show. The Body Slam Brigade newsletter, over 4,500 subscribers receive this weekly column. Make sure you go to minutestobelltime.com to subscribe. The Body Slam Brigade by Ryan for you for free. We have the Black Cats NYC. Their new album, Free Cake, is available on all of these music providers. We have Deezer, YouTube, Pandora, Spotify, wherever you can get your music. You can get the Black Cats NYC and their new album, Free Cake. The Black Cats NYC are the official band of the Eastern Observer. And as always, the Essential Wrestling Podcast is sponsored by Pro Wrestling Pick'em, the internet leader in sports entertainment pick'em pools. Join us in the Essential Wrestling Podcast public pool to play against us or create a private pool with you and your friends. ProWrestlingPick'em.com. Play against your friends. Play against the universe. And guys, she'll like it too. Join us back here next week for episode 75. Is 75? 75 that's got to be some type of anniversary. Was it like the double gold anniversary? I don't know. Episode 75 of the Essential Wrestling Podcast. Join myself, John, Ryan Joy should be back by then. Gary Mehaffy, and all of our viewing options. The same way you are watching this show now, you can watch us again next week. And don't forget about our Bound for Glory special on October 23rd as we go in depth for the biggest show of the calendar year for Impact Wrestling. We'll be live at 3 p.m. on all of the Eastern Observer platforms. Oh, that's the wrong one. No, you're not Ryan Joy. There you go. Rob, we appreciate you stopping by. I know it's only it's a short amount of time here. We appreciate you, though, hopping on the end to promote your show and making your picks. Like I said, right now, you and Larry Park are the only two guys that have anything going for you with a win last week. Everybody else got burned by North Jersey teams. So we appreciate you having you on. Anything you want to say before we leave?
No, I appreciate you guys having me on. You guys have a great show. I keep the view. Hope you guys keep that viewership high. And it's gonna let's have a good week. Hopefully, I can get some assistance this weekend from my co-parts on the NFL, so that way the Primetime Rundown can make a little bit of a comeback here. Because right now we're getting killed here. So we got to get to work.
Any wild prediction as who Tyler is going to pick this year or this week?
If Tyler, at this point,
is Tyler going to pick the Jets? Tyler's going to pick the Jets.
I'm glad he's not on my side of this thing, because it would be a runaway. It'd be a complete rout if you guys didn't have if Tyler was on our side. It'd be a runaway. It'd be over. This thing would already be over, but there's no way we could come back. But I mean, based on the way he's picking, my guess is at some point he's going to be feeling the Cincinnati Bengals. Maybe he'll take them over the pack.
The Bengals over the pack. That makes sense.
Maybe he'll take the Lions to get a. Maybe he'll take the Lions to get a win.
John Smith, anything from your end?
No, we've covered everything today, man. Looking forward to the Impact all women's pay-per-view, though.
There you go, John DeConnie.
Yeah, Tyler is the Trojan horse in Team EWP.
Thank you so much for watching. My name is Al Karl. Alexa Bliss, we love you. Larry Steve, always in our hearts. John DeConnie, take us home.
Thanks for joining us. And as always, we wish you the best in all your future endeavors.